So how can you increase your Shopify sales with no work? What's going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining exactly how you can boost your Shopify sales literally overnight without having to do much extra work at all. And I know that sounds super crazy and clickbaity, but trust me, if you watch until the end, you're gonna know the exact strategy of how you can boost those Shopify sales and not just rely on Facebook, Google, or any other advertising platform. The common thinking in the e-commerce world right now, especially between those people that do Shopify dropshipping, is that you have to 100% rely on either Facebook ads or Google ads to get that traffic coming into your Shopify store, so in return you can make money from that. While that is still true and you will still have to drive traffic to your store, there are some other ways that you can start making more and more sales without having to spend a fortune on these advertising platforms. Because let's face it, about 99% of those people currently dropshipping are either having trouble getting profitable with Facebook ads or Google ads or any other advertising platform, or they're not even sure as to whether they're advertising correctly in the first place. But without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into the exact strategy. Alright, so the very first step that you will have to do in order to increase your Shopify sales overnight or in the next few days is to first of all smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. But along with that, the real main thing that you will have to understand in order for this to work for you is that making use of different selling platforms and having them revolve around your main personal store is currently, in 2019 and onwards, the way to go with Shopify dropship. Now, what do I mean by this exactly? One thing people often fail to realize is that Shopify is not the only platform in the world where you can make money online. If you have been following me since the beginning of my YouTube channel, you know that I started out my own personal journey on eBay and Amazon. I used to dropship on eBay and Amazon and made money that way before I jumped into the Shopify world. But with this strategy, what you will be doing is basically the opposite of that. In essence, your main focus should be to start driving traffic to your main Shopify store and get sales going on that. Once that does happen, then you want to move on towards expanding your selling network. That means setting up an account on Amazon, eBay, Pinterest, etc. to then increase your sales. But just opening up an account and starting right away is not the way to go. And I'll be explaining very soon the exact strategy that you should be doing in order to understand which platform is right for you. But before I do that, one more thing that you will have to understand is that always put your own store in front of all of these other selling platforms that you will start selling on very soon. And the main reason behind that is selling on Amazon or eBay does not mean that you have your own business on those websites. You're simply utilizing their platform to make money. Compare that to having your own Shopify store where you're basically the boss of your own store. You make your own policies, you have your own customer list, you have your own email list, and you decide exactly what goes on in your store. There's very little freedom on these other selling platforms such as Amazon, eBay, and they don't even let you get access to your own customers' private data, which you then could have used for lookalike audiences on Facebook. So keeping this in mind, you always want to put your own store first before these other platforms. That is why in this strategy, I'm explaining that you will have to first get traffic to your own Shopify store before you expand onto these other platforms. One more thing that is a little bit bad about these other selling platforms is that you can literally get banned overnight selling on these platforms. I've had it happen to me where I was selling on Amazon and making a good amount of income, and next day when I wake up, I find an email from Amazon saying that I can no longer sell on Amazon. While that can definitely happen with Shopify as well, where Shopify decides to take down your website, with Amazon it is much more likely to happen, and a lot of people do face this often. So that's why you want to always keep in mind to run traffic to your own Shopify store beforehand and then expand to these sources. But exactly why am I telling you to do this? Because of course I don't expect you to just go out and make an eBay account, Amazon account, Etsy account right after this video. The main reason as to why you should be doing something like this is because doing this simply adds an additional source of income to your overall business. What I want to do is I want to show you my eBay dashboard, which is my eBay account for one of my main niche Shopify stores. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom where it says your totals to date, you can see that I've had 358 transactions on eBay, and note that this amount, 80% of this amount is from this year only. one of my main niche stores has a peak season in January and February, and in January I decided to take all of my main winning products from this main niche store and just list it on eBay. Because I had already been doing eBay before I started Shopify, I already had an eBay account, so I simply listed that product on eBay. And as you can see, again, 80% of the transactions, so 80% of 358 came from just January and February, and the total sales, again, it'll be around 80%. So in this case, let's say about $10,000 came from eBay in just 1 month. And in January, this store did roughly $100,000 on Shopify. So this is just $10,000 of extra income from eBay, $0 in advertisement costs. Because with eBay, you don't have to advertise like you do with your Shopify store. So I was only paying the transaction fees and eBay fees along with the cost of the goods themselves, and the rest was profit from eBay. So this goes to show you how important it is to be selling on these other platforms, because to be honest, this is just extra income for free. I think I spend about 2 hours every single week on eBay just listing my products and just fulfilling orders. Now, just a keynote, I'm not telling you to open a brand new Amazon and eBay account and sell something completely different from what you're already selling on your own Shopify store. You will continue selling the same exact products that you currently sell on your Shopify store, whether it is a one product store or a general store or a niche store. Simply carry on all of the products from your current store onto these other selling platforms and sell those same exact products on that platform. And this is one of the best ways to make sure that you're not just relying on one source of income, which is your Shopify store. I'm sure you've heard of multiple streams of income several times in your life. And with Shopify and e-commerce, this is one of the best ways to implement that very easily. Instead of just relying on your Shopify store's income, you can now have income from Amazon and eBay and Etsy and Pinterest coming in for those same exact products. And along with increasing your income, what this does is basically it is increasing your brand awareness. That means more people are going to trust you now, because when they Google your product, they can now not only find your website for that specific product, but they can find your store on Amazon, on eBay, on Pinterest. So as you can see, doing this makes you seem much bigger than you currently already are. And when you seem bigger than you already are, people are much more inclined to trust you and give you their money. But does this mean that now you're going to go and sign up on every single selling platform out there? There's a little bit much more that goes into that. And exactly what you should be doing is basically you want to understand that using any and every platform right from the beginning is not the ideal way to go about with this strategy. Instead, you should be asking yourself one question, and this one question will help you really understand where you want to go from here. Ask yourself, where does the majority of your audience hang out? Would your audience be mostly hanging out on Amazon or eBay or Pinterest or Etsy? For example, if you're in one of those niches that relate to the older woman, then maybe it is ideal for you to start by signing up for a Pinterest account and listing all of your products first on Pinterest. Or maybe instead of Pinterest, you want to go and start off with Etsy. So as you can see, based on the niche that you're in, or basically the store type that you have, you'll be deciding the exact platform to start off from the beginning. And once you have started off from one specific platform and have that going with good consistent sales, that's when you want to broaden and increase your scope. Maybe sign up for an Amazon account now, or maybe an eBay account. So again, our main goal is to increase our sources of income while making our store look much bigger than it actually is, and in return, increasing the trust in our audience. Because let's face it, not every person that lands on your website is going to be inclined to trust some random website that they don't even know if it's trustworthy or not. But if they have liked your product, then they will search it on Google. And if your store comes up on Amazon for that same exact product, you can be pretty sure that you're gonna get the purchase. But some of the biggest platforms that you should be looking towards taking advantage of are Amazon, eBay, Bonanza, eBid, and the list goes on and on. Again, there are so many selling platforms on this list that you should not go crazy and try to start with all of them. Instead, focus on one at a time. But the biggest platform, if you're unsure where the people in your audience would hang out with, is Amazon. So Amazon would really work the best for you. And again, there's very little to absolutely no work required to do this. You'll be simply signing up for an account on these selling platforms and just transferring all of the products that you have on your Shopify store onto these platforms. There are some Shopify apps that actually help you do this, but the process is very simple and straightforward. But again, one key thing that I would like to emphasize is do not base your entire income on these other platforms. rather base it on your e-com store. And again, this goes back to getting banned on Amazon or eBay or any other platform. A lot of people often get banned on these platforms and their income goes down to zero literally overnight. So in order to prevent that from happening, do make sure to focus on your own e-com store first. But that is the general strategy as to how you can increase your sales with very little work required from your side. Simply choose another selling platform and list all of your products on that platform. But if you found any type of value in this video, don't forget to smash that like button down below and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.